On tonight's episode of Side Stage with the IVGO, we ask the important language questions. Was that a fat joke?
Yes, the ones who are so deeply ingrained in the fight of American English versus proper English.
And finally, we come to a great conclusion.
It just keeps getting worse.
Join us tonight.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Side Stage with IVGO. I am Lisa McCrissican, your editor and host number 1. Host number 2, I'm going to introduce Keith Milligan.
Hello, I'm number 2.
Woo! Host number 3 is Shereen Pereira. Woo! And host number 4, last but most definitely not least, because he is larger than life itself, Mr. Robert Luke Martin.
Hello. Was that a fat joke?
No!
It's fine if
Never.
it was. Just roll with it. I still like how Shereen, once again...
Yeah, we're on episode 7 and Shereen
weird.
has not learned to say hello on an audio podcast.
Exactly that.
Like, I'd even accept GH if you didn't want to say hello. Like, we're not that fussy. Like,
Just keeping
we
it,
just need you to say hi.
keeping it real.
Shereen, letting down the
That's
orchestra
just what-
one day at a time.
Hi guys.
Anyway, on today's episode, you may remember from last week, we talked an awful lot about different aspects of nerd culture, like cosplay and fan fiction and all that kind of stuff. Today, we're going to delve into that tiny little bit more, but focus more on hobbies that come out of gaming. So, for example, we've got cosplay as one, but another one that comes out of it is the idea of gaming journalism, for example, and that kind of ideas. And basically, it fascinates me that people can make so much money out of just playing games, and it's an ideal life that I want. So I would love to hear everybody's gaming hobbies. This is going to be a really chill podcast because I didn't plan out that intro at all. But anyway,
Sure, look.
based on that,
You know, if they've been sticking with us since, for 7 episodes now, I think.
Hi,
think they're
Keith's
in.
mom.
Every time she hears...
they know the drill.
Anytime she hears, oh, Keith's parents, she's like, oh, that's us. And I'm like, yes, get used to this now, mother. This has become a thing.
she's still excited about it, but like sometimes we say things we shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing that episode.
That episode.
Oh, episode 5.
Yeah, the fun one. The one I can't remember.
I'm just going to say, I was listening back to episode 2 this week, and Lisa said, oh, we would never get drunk on the podcast. We're not so irresponsible to do that. And I snort laughing while driving because I knew very well that the week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my defense,
I was trying to be a good influence.
I've been perfectly sober until we introduced David, so I'm going to blame him.
David's not here anymore.
This is all David's fault.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not here
Peer
to defend
pressure.
himself, so of course it is.
Well, Keith, I'd like to introduce our special guest for the evening. David just
into the
comes
shop.
walking into
To your
not
room.
even yeah, not even into the Discord. He just is in your house.
Yeah.
Glass of wine in
Just
hand.
slowly just slides in behind you.
Keith got lucky.
Oh.
It's too early. It's too early in the podcast. Anyway, let's get back onto topic immediately. And because he's decided that he's going to do a lot of talking to start us off, I'm going to go to Keith first.
Oh.
So, would you like to tell us about any gaming hobbies that you enjoy and things that maybe you would like to pursue down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of my time, which makes me sound very, very sad, watching like Let's Players on YouTube.
I relate.
Yeah.
This is a video game orchestra podcast. There is no
True.
shame.
This is true.
run by Egypt.
So like I watch people like Funhouse or Call Me Kevin or Nerdcubed. So it would be like the main lads.
Yeah.
So like a sort of that's something that I did once want to get into, and when I say once, I mean like whenever I was doing my GCSEs. So whatever age that is, like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Because it was for media studies I was doing, and we had to, well, you had the choice for an assignment. You could do a magazine, so I was thinking, oh, I'll do a gaming magazine because, yeah, cool. And
You're the only person in the year who did it.
yeah. So I was like, let's get this like recording software so I can get it all properly done. And then I was like, oh yeah, and then I can do let's playing and get famous on YouTube. And then that never happened because I did a music video instead of a magazine. So, okay.
That was just like a general thing when you were like 15, 16 though, where it was like, I'm going to be a YouTube personality. I'm a YouTuber and I'm going to be vlogging. And it never happened.
No, it's like
YouTube wasn't a thing when I was 15.
oh, you're so old. So yeah, like that's something that never happened.
Sorry, Robert. I didn't mean to make you feel that old.
YouTube started in 2009. I was in college.
I don't know why, but I thought it was like earlier than that.
I'm gonna double check myself, but I'm pretty sure it was 2009.
I would have been I think I would have been.
Oh, I'm sorry.
13?
No, I'm sorry. I was incorrect. YouTube started in 2005, so I was in high school. But no one used it.
That seems a bit.
Like no one used it.
Yeah, it was
at
just
that
like,
point.
oh, it's just that video site, like, which in itself sounds not great.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like porn.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I'm gonna be the one to say it. It sounds like porn.
Which is why I wanted to go onto it. Hi, parents.
It just keeps getting worse. Our loyal
Note to
fans.
self: cut to Robert's face there.
We're gonna start a Kickstarter for Keith's mom and dad, so they can replace their son.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I will fund that.
back to the point. Keith, if you were to go into it now, and do Let's Play and stuff now, what do you think would be the sort of games you'd want to do?
I mean, let's be honest. It's just going to be me replaying God of War constantly. That's just going to be the channel.
Fair.
It's either going to be that or just me having an angry face over The Last of Us 2. I don't know why I'm looking. I'm looking over across the room at my PlayStation. Like this will happen to you sometime, but no.
You're actually sorry for it.
Yeah, it only has 2 months of life left, and then it gets thrown away for the newer model.
I know, but you know, like,
Or
people who, like,
recycled.
they kind of have like a theme. So like for a long time, like obviously Markiplier was like, oh, I do horror games, and then people like you said, like Funhouse and basically all those Rooster Teeth subdivisions, they did like big party streaming games like Gmod Murder and now Among Us and stuff like that. I enjoy watching those, but the idea of doing that is a bit strange to me because I am a solo gamer in a way.
Yeah, no, I would do sort of and like purely hypothetical because this is never going to happen. If I ever was to do something like that, I would just do like the single player style stuff. I think
Well,
the reason
why do you think it will never happen? It's not that difficult.
I don't have the personality for it. I'm just barely able to keep it together here.
Your podcast fans might.
But you're on a podcast. Like
I was
it's
gonna
the
say.
same thing, except instead of reacting to us, you're reacting to a chat box.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
have 3 people to make fun of here that I know I can make fun of, whereas in the chat box,
It's not working though, but
We just laugh at it. Like,
it's just like, oh, that's just Keith being Keith.
yeah.
the one thing I will say again was with solo gaming, it's like you either have to be like a big game reviewer in that way, or you are just like going, like I find a lot of them are like speedrunners, and I don't. I hate that. I don't enjoy watching that. Like, fair play to you. It's an achievement for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, like, I enjoyed just like watching, like people play games in general. But I do think there's something like interesting and different about speedruns. Like I'd watch it, like I suppose in a different mood. Like, ooh, this is cool. Like they can finish this game so quickly. Like, ooh, like that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate on it.
I do, but only when it's only if they're like taking advantage of like a bunch of different like
Glitches and stuff
in the game.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna speed run the game properly. Don't take advantage of the developers' loopholes and issues in their programming.
But like,
See, I find
that's
that
just-
interesting.
I think that's still like cool.
I don't. I feel like that's cheating.
Yeah, if you're gonna speedrun right.
We've learned here Robert hates finishing quickly. Thank you very much.
Keith.
Keith is
you
gonna
drunk?
start his
No,
own
I'm just
podcast.
very
He's
tired.
gonna...
I'm so tired.
he's going rogue.
He's getting
like...
drunk on water in a Rockshore glass.
Um.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes, editor Lisa.
Anything else you're interested in, Keith?
So it's sort of like one thing I'm quite interested in is like sort of research into game music. So mainly like how it works. So obviously, like if you have a movie, that's maybe, you know, for a 2-hour movie, you've got 90 minutes of music and that just goes from start to finish. That doesn't change however many times you watch the movie. It's always the same. Whereas for games, you could start the game and, you know, take half an hour over the like introduction section. You get to a fight section, the music changes, you die, you go back to sort of about halfway through that introduction section, you get up to the fight section again, you know, then the music changes again and you get past that, so it sort of has to constantly be changing to adapt to what the player's doing.
What do they call it? Dynamic
Music, dynamic soundtrack.
The example that I always use for it is Halo, because as you like back out of a fight, maybe to get more ammo or whatever it is, the music really dies down. You kind of just get really quiet, just like da 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 da, really, really quietly. And then as you're in the middle of it, it all just kicks off. The brass joins in. It's one of the things that's really cool.
It's brilliant. Yeah, no, like one of the things I have is this was back whenever I was in uni and actually, you know, looking at this properly, there was one like study that I used a lot, and this is quite a catchy title, so get ready for this. Rescoring the game's score, dynamic music, personality, and immersion in the Ludo narrative.
Oh wow.
Which, I mean, it just sounds so sexy. But it's basically, that study is looking at Batman Arkham City, and like specifically one of the wee like the combat rooms where like you can stealth around us or you can just go in and fight the people. And they sort of
it has a fab soundtrack.
It's brilliant, yeah. But they did it with 3 groups. So one group had no soundtrack at all. One had like a linear soundtrack, so basically what you would hear just if you played the soundtrack on, you know, Spotify or whatever. And one of them had the actual dynamic soundtrack where, you know, if you sort of swooped down and took out an enemy, the music would rise up and then it would sort of die away again whenever you went and hid in the shadows, like a bat. So like that would be an example like of, I'm just gonna go nerd here, I'm so sorry.
That's cool.
That would be an example of vertical reorchestration, where like, you know, it basically the orchestra expands outwards, as I'm so indicating with my hands for the YouTube viewers.
Yes.
So where like, you know, it'll start with maybe, I think in Batman's case, it's sort of like a low bass, like that, and then whenever you actually get into a fight, or like in Halo, like you said, you know, like all the brass, all the strings, woo, and then when you go out again, it's like, meh.
Yeah.
And then like on the other side of that, there's the whole idea of the music has to go from one track to another essentially seamlessly, depending on, you know, if you go to a different room in the game or you go to a different scene or whatever, or like, well, I mean, if you finish the combat encounter, you know, it goes from the action to the very, like, you know, exploration music. So like an example of that would be the game Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which you might sort of,
I have never played.
it's amazing. Like the soundtrack is incredible. It's more of a radio drama than a game, I would say. But
Oh,
Shout
that's
out to
cool.
Jessica Curry. Call us.
Yeah.
We love you.
she responded to my questions for my tech project, so thank you, Jessica. You the one. That's one, like, obviously that doesn't have any combat or anything in it, so that has no real changing of the pieces while they're playing in terms of, having less or more instruments playing. But because that's game, you're just constantly moving from one area to another, and just as the story rolls on, it doesn't, the music doesn't just stop and then start again, like sort of really abruptly. It just sort of fades into each other. And that would be, I can't remember if I said the name of it, but I'm going to say it again because it makes me sound smart. Horizontal resequencing, I think.
Woo.
Cool. See, this is the thing. It's not something that I know an awful lot about. Like, I know it's a thing, but it's not something, like, as you say, it's something you're really into and something that you really enjoy learning about. It's not something I knew I ever think about. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to compose music for games. But there's so much more in it than just sitting down and writing a track like you would for a movie. But it's even the same as, this is going out of game slightly, but with Lord of the Rings, there's obviously the film score, and then there's the complete collection film score, which is every single bit of music that's in it, played one after the other, so you can watch the movie or listen to the movie as a soundtrack.
Okay, I'm going to look that up whenever
It's
we finish
one of the
recording.
coolest
That
things.
sounds amazing.
It's got all the ones that you didn't have before either, like on soundtracks. So like Return of the King has, obviously it has Faramir's, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Lord of the Rings at this point, but it has the music just before Faramir rides out with the soldiers of Gondor, basically to all die. But it also has Pippin's song, which they don't have on the original or on the original soundtrack.
The actual yeah.
It has it just like straight into it. It's so smooth.
Oh.
So I kind of understand like what you're talking about from that aspect, because I've seen it happening as a film. But the actual impact of it in a game is something else entirely.
Did you just say film?
Film?
Robert, you
What-
want to move
what's
to
wrong with
Ireland.
film?
Get with the programme.
Ireland.
Why? What would you? Why would you say?
Kate!
Why would you
Film.
say? Why would you say?
Why would I say? Because there's only one
Why would I
I
say-
in the word.
No, it's film.
It's film.
No.
Movie
Sorry.
picture.
It's called
How's it spelled,
accents.
Lisa?
Robert.
That's not an accent. That's adding extra letters
No,
to a
it's
word.
not. No, it's not.
No.
It's
You can't say anything,
legitimate,
'cause
okay?
all Americans say aluminum when it is spelt aluminium. I had to think about that.
That's how. No, aluminum.
No, there's an I after the N at the end of it. It's aluminium. Anyway, moving on.
We are
Not getting into
losing
this
our
debate.
listeners, folks. Alienating our dearest fans. Keith's
Yes.
parents.
Yes, the ones who are so deeply ingrained in the fight of American English versus proper English.
Oh yes.
Hold
I
up.
don't know what to
Hold
say
up.
about that.
Studies have proven that our English is what actually was being spoken in England back in the 1700s. So
Okay,
I
everyone's
did-
English
I
is
originally
legit.
did an English degree. I
Okay?
can prove you wrong.
Can
That's
I
like me
just
using-
say?
I use
Shereen
Windows
over here trying to
XP
be
because
like-
that was the first Windows, and everyone's like using better Windows. Ugh. Anyway,
hold up. Windows XP was the first Windows? No, it was
I don't know.
not.
It wasn't
No,
early
it
Windows,
wasn't.
whatever. That was the first one that
Windows
came to mind.
95, my friend.
I think we need
Windows
to like
95.
retitle this episode.
Yeah,
Cultural
the old man,
differences.
the old man
Argument.
gets angry.
The
Conflict.
supposedly chill podcast.
Yeah, this was supposed to be like super chill, and now it's got very heated
Just
very quickly.
fighting.
I just came here to fight.
Yeah. Anyway,
I told you in the plan I'm just here to
Oh,
comment on
dear.
things today.
well, not really because I'm coming to you next, buddy.
Bring it on.
You were saying earlier about, obviously, Keith mentioned about, like, he doesn't think he has the personality to pull off Let's Play channel, and obviously, I think we all probably could, because we've got used to podcasting and stuff, but there is somebody here who does actually stream, and does it very well, because I enjoyed the stream that you did most recently.
You watched
and that is you, Robert. I did, yeah. It was like 2 a.m. here, and I was like, I'm gonna watch.
How was it 2 a.m. there? It was 2 a.m. here when I did that.
Oh, that's what I meant.
You stream a lot, Robert.
Yeah, and it's always really late. Yeah, I've recently picked up streaming again. Well, not again, for the first time. Mainly because the main reason why I hadn't done it before was because I didn't have the equipment to do so. And then I was just like, oh, I can get a capture card for like $30 now. Okay.
Yeah, it's more accessible now.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, at my old place my roommate was a very well-known music streamer, and I kind of just didn't even want to like walk into that area because of that. I just was just like, you know what, you've got this, I'm trying to do a degree, I'm not gonna touch that.
Yeah. But
now that the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection came out this week,
the greatest thing in the world,
I'm just like, you know what? Let's just see what happens.
By the time this airs, it'll be like
5 weeks out, 10 weeks
It's been out for a while.
We gotta plan a Christmas show. But yeah, so, and the only reason why, like, that's like the only like gaming hobby I have now, is because all of my other gaming hobbies became my job.
But isn't that kind of cool?
It is, until you realize that you don't get paid for half of it. But yeah,
True.
if you'd like to donate to the Irish Video Game Orchestra, please click the
I was actually talking to somebody about that recently, because she owns her own like photography business, and I was like, it's really cool that like you can go out and do that. And then she has her own wee art studio. She sends out cards and like they're all hand done. And she was like, this is just something I used to do for fun, and now I make a little bit of money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I speak for everybody here when I say we all love music, as in like classical music, every kind of music kind of. When I was younger, made a point of being like, I'm not making music my job because it's my hobby and I don't want to ruin it. I now teach, and every single minute of that is not work. It's fun, and I get paid for it. So there's something to be said for all your hobbies at the minute. I know you don't get paid for them yet.
Speak for yourself. I
but
hate
you
teaching.
Could.
I hate teaching so much.
Oh, no, I love it.
That is so much work.
No, it's not work to me at all. Like, it's so much fun.
I mean, that's great.
Anyway, seeing as Robert has brought the tone down.
Nope. Anyway, as always. But yeah, so like the fun research stuff I used to do, that became a degree. Oh, by the way, Keith, the study, the field of study that you're looking for all this is called ludomusicology.
I was going to mention
That's
that.
a big old word.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the study of music and play.
Nice.
I want to make a little note here that I have the
Super cool.
podcast plan open, and I watched Shereen type that in mid-podcast. Like,
Really?
VGM
Oh,
thesis.
ludomusicology.
Came across ludomusicology literally like 10 minutes into the podcast.
No. There isn't an I there.
I misspelled it.
There we go. I got you. Yeah, because
Sorry to out you there, Shereen.
in the plan, because Keith was like, "Oh, researching the game music, is this a hobby?" And I just, boom, there's an actual academic field study on this.
Yeah.
No, that became a master's dissertation, and at one point, I was the world-leading researcher of video game music in the concert hall.
Ooh.
Because I was the
Ooh.
only researcher of video game music in the concert hall.
Fair.
I think, though,
At least you can say that, though.
I check in every once in a while to see, and I don't think anyone else has really written anything new about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue and hold that title for now.
Yep.
Hopefully someone will write something updated. Also, I don't think that dissertation is published anywhere. It should be. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. Yeah.
Are you enjoying streaming?
I am. The problem is, though, like, the thing that stresses me out about it is I feel like I can't do it unless I've completed a bunch of other tasks that day.
Right.
So otherwise, I just feel like I'm wasting productive time that I should be spending on other things. So, and I mean, and I feel like, though, that we all feel that when we game at all in general. It's like, like you really need to learn how to compartmentalize your day a little bit more.
Maybe you don't, Keith, but
Yeah, that's a thing.
Keith. Well, Keith, are you working on any projects that, like, you have to be responsible for your deadlines and everything right now?
I feel another conflict coming up.
No, this is an honest question, because that's why I feel like that. It's because I've got a number of things where I keep pushing back my deadlines, and I feel bad about it.
No, I mean, the only thing that's
Sorry
sad
to
is,
my
like,
PhD supervisor.
no, I've only got people's veins to book and work. Shout out to the NHS, I don't know.
I was going to say, that sounds a little bit creepy when you don't actually clarify.
God bless the NHS.
No, I can understand that, Robert, because obviously I love doing this, but editing the podcast, it's like I have to do that around 2-3 other jobs. One job's a bar, but you still have to be in for your shifts on time. That is a task in itself, and making sure you have your shirts ironed and your uniform ready. Then I've got my teaching, which means I have to have my sight reading exercises for them, all their orals up to date, make sure everything's set for their grades, keep an eye for when the deadlines close, all that kind of stuff. And that's all stuff that has to come first. I legitimately, until today, when I was cleaning my room, I think my Xbox has actually been unplugged, like the power fully out, for about a month and a half, because I just haven't had time to game.
Yeah, that's a sad state of affairs.
And I would love to be the sort of person who's just like, I'll do it, I'll just go and game, and I'll do that tomorrow, but I'm not, because it stresses me out when things aren't done. Yeah,
it's just kind of, and it's that whole, like, guilty feeling, but then at the same time, you have to realize that we all need time to decompress. We all need time to relax. Otherwise, your productive work will also be affected greatly.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's that thinking where I'm just like, oh, okay, I think I can start doing this properly, or not properly, but like I can reason with myself to make me feel less bad about this.
Yeah.
Until you've been sitting there playing City Skylines for 4 hours, and you're just like, where did my day go? What just happened? All of a sudden it's dark outside, and you're like,
I can't remember who said this to me, but I remember somebody telling me once, you know, it's like get all your tasks done and then go game or do whatever it is you want to do. Somebody told me maybe it's a better idea to game first and set a cutoff point, because then you've already got that out of your system. And I just remember replying, like, that would never work.
No.
Because I would just want a game.
Doesn't work.
Because you're like, just one more request. Oh, look, over there's somebody who needs my help. Like, no, it doesn't happen. But Robert, what is your, you stream on Twitch?
I do stream on Twitch. My
What's
username is
your account name?
Hylian Conductor.
Of course it is. I only bring that up because I knew that. I wanted to.
Well, because also like
get you to share.
Concerts and things get streamed over there as well, so it's kind of like a music channel, but also, hey, we don't have concerts right now, so I'm gonna sit here and play some video games. And usually, like, I'm playing through Super Mario 64 right now, and I'm a bad streamer because I will play off stream as well, because I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have enough viewers to actually like care that they're missing out on some stuff. Whatever. But I just, like, I'm playing through Super Mario, and I just sit there going, and like I'm playing and like humming along to the music the entire time.
Yeah.
which is
That was actually the
fun.
part of the stream I tuned into, and you were like, "Oh my god, Bomb on Battlefield." It's so good. If you had time, would you try and do it like at set times?
I mean, I'm sure
Have
if
you thought about it?
I actually planned my life out, I could do that.
Yeah.
I haven't felt the need to really dedicate that much effort into it yet.
Yeah. Because I think that's something, maybe Keith, you can talk about this too, with if you did want to do Let's Plays and stuff, like there's channels that are putting out like 3 videos a day.
Which is
and-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of them are massive companies, like as Keith said, Funhouse is one of those, but they have like 4 to 6 editors, plus like 8 hosts, so there's stuff constantly being made. It's what
It's
they
like
do.
rotating around.
Wow, that'd be nice, guys, wouldn't it?
Even like like Nerdcubed or Call Me Kevin, who's like just has the one person on the screen or on the mic or whatever. Like they have editors as well. Maybe not as much as like Funhouse do. Like so, they'd still only have like maybe 1 or 2 as opposed to the 4 or 5 as the big people have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're still not doing all the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like that makes it sound like I'm coming after you. Call Me Kevin. This is my diss track. I'm so tired. I just want him to notice me. But yeah,
we just tag him and get on the Twitter when we're sending these all out. Instagram, tag everybody. No, I think streaming makes it easier. I do think streaming is easier to do because it's just make sure your internet connection works and you have all the bits and pieces up. I think when you're
that's
doing
the other
Let's
reason.
Plays...
Now I remembered the other reason why I started streaming this week.
Oh, go ahead.
Internet is no longer crap. I'm now wired in, so my upload speed's like 400 megabits per second.
Wow.
So I actually have a good connection over in my room.
Yeah.
That's the other reason.
That makes life easy.
Now
that
I
makes
remember.
life easier. But that's the thing though. Like with streaming, you don't need an editor, but at a certain point, like particularly with Twitch, I know a lot of people have chat moderators once they get to a certain level and
I
stuff
have
like
2
that.
viewers and I already have one. That's because my
Yeah.
friend Tim does nothing. Well, he
But
does
you know
a
what I
lot,
mean, like,
but
it's handy because you don't need somebody to edit it down. It's just I'm live now. Okay, stream over. See you later, and it's done. Let's Play. It's like you have to sit down and plan it. Like even me editing this podcast video together for YouTube, it's that same idea. It's like I have to edit 4 videos, 4 audios, try and sync that up, add in whatever extra stuff we're doing. It's a lot of work for one person, and if it was just me doing like my own video and doing my own edits and trying to get all the stuff leveled, it would never work.
Definitely, yeah. It's a huge task. And we're very.
would you accept it, by the way?
I know, no, this I don't mind. I'm used to it now. But like if I was doing it for myself, I'd be like, I'd get somebody else. Like if it was me, I'd be like, you guys go on week. Does anybody want to edit? Does anybody need to edit? I'd be like, somebody come edit my stuff. Like
We're still very lucky to have you and grateful.
that's sweet.
Yay
I don't
to
know
the
how to respond to that. I
editor.
don't take compliments very well. Anyway, moving on. As I say, seeing a Shereen was so nice. Let's go to Shereen. I think the notes that you made here is probably the ones that I know the least about. It's the most interesting to me because it's not. A lot of them are things I wouldn't really be looking to go straight into.
Yeah.
Would you like to share?
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose just obviously, so like I've played video games since a young age, and in I think it was 2009 I came across a concert that would be happening in the National Concert Hall here in Dublin that was called Video Games Live.
Yeah.
And this is the very first time I'd heard of like video game music in concert. And it was such an incredible concert. And basically, yeah, so Video Games Live, set up by there's a bit of a note here. See Robert's dissertation. Okay,
No,
obviously
I watched that get tagged in.
you
I'm
took-
going to cut to my face when that went in because I really did just go tip my head because I was like, Robert.
obviously
He's also been highlighting the plan as we're going, so
yeah, like obviously you could talk to us about the history of game music in the concert hall, but I suppose just from personal experience, that was the first time I had like come across it, and it was so much fun, and it was the first time that I had obviously heard this kind of music in this orchestral setting, but also like started hearing like music from all these games that I hadn't played. And that was really, you know, like I found these, I'd write down like, okay, like if they'd be like, now Castlevania, I'd be like, oh, I want to record this for like, I want to take a note of that to like look it up later. And yeah, I just attached some links there actually for the Castlevania OST because I hadn't played the game, but oh my God, the music. Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
It's so cool.
Yeah, definitely. And so that really kind of affected like how I would see like video games like play a role in my life, because I was like, wow, I didn't even know this was possible to take like video games into the concert hall. You know, like I really love music. Like I like playing piano, I like singing. Like, wouldn't this be an amazing career to have, you know? And kind of pretty much ever since then I've been always like trying to like, I've been always like having that kind of dream in the distance, like that would be really cool to like sing for like a video game, right?
What I will say about you, this is just a little note, and to show the kind of the impact that's had, I know Sour Candy isn't a video game song, but you can do all these songs in Japanese. I hadn't heard it until I'd heard your version of it, so now when I hear it in stores, I'm like, it's not
That's
right.
Shereen's
It's
song.
supposed to be in Japanese. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I go, it's not right. But it's cool that, like, anything that you've done already, covers and stuff you've done, even with the orchestra, it's, you can do it in Japanese, you can do it in Irish, you can do it in all these different ways, and it's cool that it's opened these doors for you, that you're able to go and do that.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's it just like encouraged me, and like you were saying earlier about like, you know, like your hobbies mightn't be making you music now, but you know, it's always good to, you know, kind of keep that up, and like they can become, I suppose, such a big part of your world. And that's
the
really
example
positive.
I can kind of give there is I'm really into music theater. Don't know if anybody knew that on this podcast.
I knew from your Instagram, but that's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
I
know.
was about to say, yeah.
That 2-hour drive, from Dublin after Worldcon,
Oh my God,
where
yes.
we're belting Wicked the entire way
I
home
forgot about that.
We
That was so
should
much
do a
fun.
musical.
You guys like Wicked?
with Con. It was Con and who else
Yeah,
was in the
Con.
back seat?
No, it was just the three of us.
Was it
Because
just
everybody
the three?
else was in
That's
was
right,
way-
because
was in
I had
Holly's
to
car.
take the cello. I had to take the cello.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Con was in the back just going, I am living for this.
I know, it's so much fun. But I've totally lost my point there that I was going to go with.
Oh yeah, so you're saying music.
Totally derailed.
You're saying you do. So you were talking about like your experience with musical theater, and like how.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I kind of know what I was going into now. So it's like, obviously, music theatre to me, it's not really a job I can go into. Particularly in Ireland, there isn't a lot of opportunity for it.
Yeah.
But I remember there was a Q&A happening with Alex Brightman on Twitter, who is a fabulous Broadway actor. He does Beetlejuice, and he was Dewey Finn in the School of Rock musical.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm doing a Q&A, so like send me all your questions. And people were asking him like about his dogs and stuff like that. And I remember reaching out and being like, what would you say to somebody who is kind of only got her feet back in the door
Yeah.
and doesn't, like, she's just found out she wants to do this, and he was like, there's just start now, because if you have acted or sung or something, you aren't learning. You are an actor, you are a singer. I was like, that's really cool for any hobby, because it, like, Robert, you're probably sitting there going like, oh yeah, I do my streaming and stuff, but I'm not a streamer. Well, to me you are, because you're the only other person I know who does it. You know what I mean?
I only started this week.
I know, but you're still, you know what I mean? You are a streamer, and for you, Shereen, it's like you're posting your covers on YouTube, and well, it's got up on Apple Music and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's like we are very self-depreciating in ourselves, but there's so many doors open, particularly with gaming music, that you can go. And I think one of the big ones, obviously, is the lead songs that they always use for Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Because they always have a song both in Japanese and in English. You could do both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I know, that's the dream, you know. That's the dream. But yeah, absolutely. And like, that's the way that you can take things from being a dream into like reality as well, because you're like, okay, I'm a singer, like, I'm an actor, this is, you know, this is my craft, this is what I'm working on, and that can kind of validate like your experiences and kind of what you want going for like
and because game music now is such a big thing, and like, we're not the only video game orchestra, you best stay with us, but there's others that you could reach out to if you want to. Do you know what I mean?
No other gaming orchestra has a podcast, so
Robert's keeping his mouth shut because he has to keep relationships with these other groups.
Yeah. But to be fair, was it not the last one where you said stop plugging other groups to me?
I'm not saying anything.
We're gonna help each other in our community, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? What's that? What'd you say?
He's just gonna talk over
anyway.
Shereen, what'd you say?
I said,
Would you
hello,
like to repeat
Robert, how are you?
That's not what you said. You said something about our community.
I said we have to lift each other up, you know.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have come in on our turf. Anyway.
Sorry to anybody who's listening with headphones. I'm pretty sure Robert just peaked the audio.
Yeah,
I think my laughs tend to actually as well. I'm so sorry, Lisa.
That was an Adam note one week. It was just like, yeah, she's Shereen's laughs usually like a couple of decibels higher than everybody else.
Yeah.
I was like, she can't help that. Leave her alone.
It's a common throughout my life.
Anyway, would you ever consider streaming yourself, Shereen?
Streaming,
like, you could stream like little like 15-minute
You should be
concerts.
a music streamer.
Yeah.
But like, I suppose because I don't like, it would just be a cappella, like, hey.
But
Doesn't have to be.
like, I would watch that.
Build some backing tracks, man.
it's just 4 hours of her going,
Yeah.
hey, welcome to the stream, lads.
But like,
I'm gonna sing now.
Comment below if you
what she wasn't showing us, for anybody who's isn't watching on YouTube, she had her hand up in the air there, but it kind of looked like you were holding a glass of wine. So,
Hey.
Ooh, now drunk
hey
music
guys,
streams.
hand up, holding a glass of wine.
No.
Oh no, they go
Keith.
bad.
No.
Keith is never allowed to drink on the podcast again.
That's gonna stop
but
me.
no,
Not allowed to
like-
drink, period.
Music streams, like, there's guys obviously who go and arrange music on streams, and I haven't watched an awful lot of them. I think I've watched one guy, and it was only because I saw a little clip where his cat walked on and played like these jazz chords by accident as it was walking along. He was like, oh, that was really nice. But like,
cute.
I always think like even little short streamed concerts are pretty cool, and like, you could do this little 15 minutes. Like 15 minutes is 3 songs and your introduction. You know what I mean? Just like, I'm here just 15 minutes of crack with you guys, like, and then just show off for 15 minutes basically.
Yeah, I suppose I don't have a following really. So and that's the thing, like obviously like you have to make content to like build a following, but then once you have a following, that like encourages you to create content as well. But no, it's definitely an idea. I suppose I feel that I suppose if I was just singing a cappella, I don't think it would be that earth-shattering when I don't have like, I suppose like followers who are like, oh, that's Shujinko, I wanna listen to like what Shujinko has going on. Like, we're not there yet.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because we're like, it's not going to be earth shattering and earth breaking, whatever. This podcast is not earth breaking, but we still do it.
I know, but that's because I get to have fun with you guys.
My mum says it's the best podcast she's ever listened to. So
it's the only podcast she's ever listened to.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
Yeah, my dad like listened to like half of an episode and he was like, "You're laughing a lot." And I was like, "Thanks, Dad."
Yep.
My parents don't know what a podcast is.
I always say to my mom on a Monday afternoon, "Yeah, I'm podcasting at 7 o'clock," and she goes, "Podcasting." Like, it's like a word that doesn't exist in her brain.
Casting on a pod.
Casting on a pod.
It can be.
But aside, back to the point.
Yes.
Aside from music streaming, would you consider game streaming?
The first time I did like streaming on Twitch was just like Jackbox, like the online like group playing or whatever, and that was really, really fun. I suppose I do play mainly the Switch these days, and I'd have to like because you can't stream directly from the Switch, you'd have to like set up like a system, which I wouldn't be.
Jackbox would be a good one for the orchestra members.
I know, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we
actually showed up.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter. I'm not.
No.
I sound like I'm in such a mood today. I'm really not. I'm just being snarky.
Do you know this episode is like set to air like 25th of November? Yep.
We really should pick up our schedule. But anyway.
So, maybe by then people will become involved in the podcast. We shall see.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood of that happening though?
Comment below if you'd like.
Anyway, back on topic. Here's where I announce myself as being a previous Let's Player.
Ooh.
Because one of the things that I'm really fascinated about is writing game reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I had a website. My brother the website still exists and my brother still writes for it, but we just don't really, we tried to make it really, it's called the Bulb Games. And the reason is because years ago when he was coming up with his Xbox gamer tag on like his first Xbox, he couldn't come up with anything, but he was fascinated by the movie I Am Legend. It had just come out, but obviously that was taken. And he decided, I know what's funny, I am light bulb. So that's where the Bulb Games came from, because it was just like,
I am the light bulb.
I am light bulb. Yeah. But that's sort of where the Bulb Games, it was originally the Bulb blog, and then it became the Bulb Games, because obviously we're talking about games.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing like game reviews, and like we did a couple. The one I did and actually got quite a bit of traction on was for Yoshi's Woolly World.
Oh, cool. I need to check out this website.
And then we were doing, a lot of it got taken down when we sort of stopped doing it properly. But he now uploads when he has time. Obviously we both work full time, it's hard.
Yeah.
So like I would love to be back doing that. I prefer the writing side of the website, a lot of it, because it's easier to do. You can take your time, and once it's done, and you can just put it schedule. Whereas a video, there's so much more that goes into it. But we did do a bunch of little Let's Plays. We did Portal for a while, and we were going to do The Flame and the Flood, but we were going to do it like it was like a survival guide. So that's something that I think is really cool in terms of like stuff that I've done before. I like doing it like it's creative writing, so not to immediately talk about the Elder Scrolls again. I did one for the Elder Scrolls, which was the 10 my 10 favorite places or locations in the game and stuff like that. But I wrote it from the point of view of like in this tavern that night, like it was like an old adventurer telling their story to somebody else of their travels.
Yeah.
And it was sort of based like that. I like writing articles like that. That might be classified as fan fiction, but I'm not quite sure because it was more going into the game and aspects of like the game's development and stuff like that as well. But we were going to do one with Flame in the Flood, which was basically the Let's Play was going to be how long could I survive on survival mode and try and keep myself alive for all this length of time. But then we'd have like a written part, which would be me writing it out like it's kind of the way the game presents it. So it's presented like a journal, just like writing down notes, like the date, the notes, little pictures, like I would have hand drawn them myself kind of thing, but the pictures would have been like actual cuts from the game, like from our Let's Play. And he had one which was, I can't remember the full name of it, but he was going to play every single Legend of Zelda game from start to finish. I think the plan was to do it in order of timeline. So he would do Skyward Sword first and then start splitting it up.
Which timeline though?
Oh, come
Well,
on.
that was what I kind of said.
There's like a universally accepted canon timeline.
Yeah, but it breaks into three
That
parts.
splits in three.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And this is why I don't play
conflict.
Zelda.
No conflict.
Should I get the book? Should I get the book? I have
apparently-
it.
No, that's fine.
Apparently,
That's fine.
You can debunk Hyrule Historia a lot just by what game developers have said.
True.
Which sounds kind of... Anyway, I think the plan was to do like right through to obviously Ocarina of Time and then do the Majora's Mask timeline. Because that's like the one that's nearly enough like an immediate follow. Because that would be Majora's Mask. And then I think Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
At the time we were doing that, Majora's Mask 3D had just come out. So it was a good time to do that and things. But I really enjoyed that, like not having it as like a YouTube channel or a streaming thing. Like it was a website that had all these different aspects. So like some of it was just here's a bit of game news. So like here's that this developer's working on this week. Here's games we enjoyed this week. Here's 5 games you can enjoy on the toilet. Like little things like that.
5 games you can enjoy on the toilet?
Yeah.
Hold on, before we
So
get
it
to
was
that,
like-
does anyone else remember when the GameCube finally had wireless controllers and you could then actually play from the toilet?
Yep.
GameCube's before my
I
time.
still
Making sure.
have those. I think.
Keith, you're a child.
Yeah. Child with a beard. Screw you.
Any age is welcome to listen to our podcast. We are
That's
not
not
against
true.
you.
Podcast.
Oh,
No.
well, actually, sorry.
No, we are not a kid-friendly podcast.
No. We tried in the first episode and failed miserably
Not
and
gonna
just
happen.
failed from there on out.
We failed in the first 5 minutes of this episode with Keith.
What did I say this time?
If Keith wasn't here, maybe.
You'll
There's a lot
hear.
of
You'll
sexual
hear
innuendo.
end of November.
Oh.
Okay.
You'll get to listen back eventually. But no, it's like I enjoy doing that. I would like to get back into like actual game reviews. But the problem with that, and maybe it's the same if you were ever thinking about doing Let's Plays, it's trying to keep on top of new games
Yeah.
when you don't have access to them or money to get them. Because you constantly need to be keeping on top of that sort of stuff, and it's a lot of work on top of your job. And obviously now if I was to do it around teaching, I'd be researching the stuff I need for each podcast episode if needed, my stuff for teaching, then every bit of research I would need for that. It's a lot of work, which is why I like to think of it as a hobby more than as something that I want to make big and make a lot of money out of, because at least then I
Yeah.
get to enjoy what I'm doing. And I still get that even out of like music and stuff. So like being in the orchestra, editing this podcast, doing my teaching, it's still a hobby. I still enjoy it. I just happen to make money out of that side of it now. So
Oh, fair
That's the
enough.
dream.
yeah, I don't know if anybody else can really can relate to that or understands where I'm coming with that, but that's kind of what I'm sort of into.
Definitely. I mean, would you like to do more of the website with your brother? Like, do you want to like keep that up and do more of that kind of creative writing?
Yeah,
articles?
I think because when I was in school, like creative writing was also a bit of an outlet.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed kind of taking on that aspect of I'm actually in the game world.
Yeah.
And even if you're doing it as, you don't have like a player character, it's not made, you're playing as somebody, viewing a game through like a different point of view or somebody else's eyes is really fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I like sort of producing things that are like, it shows people the game and like, here's what you can do. So like, if I was doing, say, I'm gonna go to Fallout 4 because it's the one I know survival mode in best, and it's like, where do you find fresh water? Where do you have to go to get this sort of material that you need to upgrade your water purifiers, get better buildings, stuff like that. I like doing that just as like help for people who have never played the game, but I also like doing it in a creative way that it kind of lets me get all that kind of energy out that I don't get to get out anywhere else, except in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I find creative writing fun. Like, I have a leather-bound notebook that one of my friends got me years ago where I wrote down story ideas and stuff, and they all kind of stem from gaming. And it's like, I would like to develop that.
Yeah.
And it's something that I get out of gaming itself, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that could be cool to like, like to be able to like make money and stuff from that sort of thing as well. But obviously the end goal shouldn't always be to make money and make it a career. But to like make that kind of, you know, to have your articles and have that website seen by a lot of people and read and enjoyed would be really cool as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And it's like, I think that's why I made the point with this of calling this gaming hobbies, not like other gaming jobs.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Definitely.
we all enjoy those sorts of things. Like, obviously Keith enjoys doing his the game music research. You enjoy doing your game music covers. Robert's enjoying his streaming and stuff like that. But it's still a hobby. Like, even though they're all things you can kind of make
like
a living out of
careers
eventually. It's kind of more about just enjoying like the community that can come out of games, because everybody will find what you're doing eventually because they are looking up the games and they're looking up what more information can I find out, and eventually you end up on page 6 of Google and it'll show up eventually. Like,
Page 6. I'm on page 1.
oh,
If you look up my name.
Look at this on page 1.
Well, you have to bleep that.
I know, but it's me who's bleeping it, so it's fine. We're allowed 1. That was your rule. So
I think that was like the like the least like, I think everything we've said has been more, you know, controversial.
yeah, anything that wasn't actually a swear.
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah, Keith.
Keith
Anyway.
is smiling and
Giving a thumbs up to all
Having a
the
little
people.
giggle to himself. Just to kind of round us off here, because I don't want to run too far over time.
For once.
Yeah.
For once in our life.
For
I'm
once.
like, oh gosh, we had 2 points we did not hit at all.
I know, I'm going into the last one, don't worry.
Yay.
Do we think any of these that we've talked about, or any other sort of gaming hobbies, or just ways to kind of enjoy games, do we think we could get the orchestra in behind any others? Like, we've talked kind of about getting the orchestra on streaming, but
that's something I'd really like to see. Like, as in, even like to have like a streaming channel with members who stream games, etc. But comment below if that's something that you'd be interested in consuming.
I
don't want to edit that, please. That's a
I
lot
think
more.
it's a live stream. No, my
Yeah.
biggest concern is just
Oh no!
getting people to
Oh
commit.
no! iPhone
It's a
storage
commitment.
full. My video is gone. Is that okay?
Shireen is now just a
Oh,
picture on the
dear.
screen.
Womp womp.
There's always one.
Make sure it's a good one. Yeah, I think it's a big commitment to do something like that, though, and already asking our musicians to, continue practicing and be a part of the orchestra, and then on top of that going, hey, you want to stream? You want to put down like another 4 hours a week to commit to being a part of this other thing that we're doing?
But we do that for the
Um,
podcasts.
That's because we weren't doing anything else.
Yeah, we're just mad
Yeah,
people.
and realistically,
love
like
the
most weeks it
orchestra.
is gonna be. We are gonna have special guests and stuff, but like most weeks it is us four at the minute. So
Yeah.
We have had a special guest before.
yeah,
We will continue on.
the one thing this podcast basically has turned into either therapy or just a chance for the four of us just to hang out and laugh at each other. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And annoy the listeners.
I'm so sorry, listeners.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad.
Keith's mum
I'm
and
not.
dad.
We love you. But we've sort of been talking behind the scenes about things that the orchestra could maybe look into in the future. I don't think, obviously, like the things I'm talking about, like you can't get the orchestra to do game reviews, but you could get people who would be down for streaming, not every week, but just every now and again, like doing a wee 1 hour stream, even once a month or something, for anybody who would be interested. Because like the likes of Jackbox and particularly now Among Us, which I would hate to be the person who was trying to do that stream, because that game you need to be tuned into everybody's capture at the one time. But they're really fun to watch, and it's competition for anybody who is into those kind of games. Or we could do Adam's suggestions, which he suggests nearly every week, which is Dungeons and Dragons. Just have like an orchestra Dungeons and Dragons session.
I would be down, especially for
Yeah.
like a one
A
shot
once
game.
off, yeah.
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 I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we do it in a really big arena with the rest of the orchestra off to the side, and just everyone else just sitting at a card table on this platform in the middle of the arena, just a single camera over top.
That's a lot more effort than I think most of our members are willing to put in.
I'm just gonna keep saying this until it happens.
But yeah, something like that would be cool down the line. If anybody has any suggestions, please let us know. Do any of you three have any other suggestions or ideas? That is a deafening silence. Okay.
No, I think
on
you've
that
covered
note-
everything.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah.
On that note, then, being absolutely shunned on our last question, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Thank you
Thank
always for
you.
coming back.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming back to Side Stage with the
Bye,
IVGO.
everyone.
And we will see you again on the next episode. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.
Farewell, parents.